When TLC first introduced viewers to Welcome to Plathville, the focus was on the Plath family, Kim and Barry, their 9 children, and the unconventional way they lived. No television, no social media, no soda, no mainstream culture. The parents' goal was to raise their children in a sheltered, faith-driven environment away from outside influences. For some time, it seemed like the family was unified. But the world has changed, and so have the Plaths. The show has evolved from a simple portrait of conservative family life to a layered story about independence, rebellion, fractured bonds, and redefining what family means. Viewers have watched the older Plath children, Ethan, Moriah, Micah, move out, clash with their parents, and carve new identities in the modern world. Kim and Barry themselves separated, creating even more division. The show is no longer about one large family moving in harmony. It is about individuals deciding how much, or how little, they want to be tied to the Plath name. And that is where Veronica comes into the picture. Unlike the Plath siblings, she is not one of the 9 children. She entered the family's orbit through close relationships, offering emotional support and companionship. For a while, viewers speculated about her role. Would she become part of the family long-term? Would she be embraced as someone who blended naturally into the circle? But Veronica recently made a statement that stunned fans. She does not want to be in the family. That line, so firm, so clear, has sparked debate. What does it mean when someone connected to the Plaths refuses to join their world? Why does Veronica want distance? And what does this reveal about the complicated web that is the Plath family dynamic? To understand Veronica's decision, we need to look at the history of Welcome to Plathville. Kim and Barry's parenting style was extreme in its attempts to isolate the children. They believed that protecting their kids from mainstream culture would keep them pure and grounded. Yet, as the show revealed, the opposite happened. The children grew curious, then restless, and eventually frustrated with the limitations placed on them. Ethan, the eldest son, was one of the first to push back. His marriage to Olivia added another layer of conflict, because Olivia did not accept the strict Plath rules. Over time, Ethan and Olivia distanced themselves from Kim and Barry, creating long stretches where the family was estranged. Moriah pursued a music career, embracing bold fashion and self-expression. Micah modeled and explored freedom in Los Angeles. Each sibling who broke away highlighted the cracks in the family's unity. For someone like Veronica, stepping into this fractured dynamic is not just difficult, it is overwhelming. The Plath family is not a quiet, stable environment. It is a story constantly unfolding on national television, one where every disagreement is amplified and every choice is dissected by viewers and fans online. So why did Veronica declare that she does not want to be in the family? On the surface, it may seem harsh, but when you look closer, it begins to make sense. The first reason is boundaries. Veronica has her own life, her own history, her own goals. Being part of the Plath family is not simply about showing up for dinner or supporting a loved one. It means immersing yourself in a web of conflict, expectations, and public scrutiny. Veronica appears to recognize that becoming one of them would mean losing part of her own independence. By drawing a line now, she keeps her identity intact. The second reason is the chaos. The Plaths are not just a family, they are a brand. Their storylines fuel ratings, and TLC builds drama around their disagreements. To be part of the family is to become part of that machine. Veronica may have no interest in being pulled into manufactured tension or scripted drama. By staying on the outside, she avoids becoming a character in a show that thrives on conflict. The third reason is emotional self-preservation. The Plath siblings themselves have talked about how difficult it is to maintain peace within the family. Ethan and Olivia's marriage has been strained by family conflicts. Moriah has expressed heartbreak over feeling unsupported. Even Kim and Barry's divorce revealed that long-standing issues had been hidden under the surface. If being a biological member of the family is this draining, how much harder must it be for someone who does not have to be there? Veronica may simply be protecting her mental health. At this point, think about your own life. Have you ever been part of a group, whether a workplace, a community, or even extended family, where joining felt like losing yourself? Have you ever realized that staying on the outside was healthier than trying to fit in? Veronica's decision resonates because it is something many of us understand. Family is important, yes, but it should not come at the cost of your peace of mind. Fans of Welcome to Plathville have been divided in their reactions. Some praise Veronica for being bold, for recognizing the risks and choosing clarity. They see her as wise for drawing a boundary before getting sucked into drama. Others criticize her, arguing that family, whether by blood or by bond, is worth embracing no matter how messy it becomes. But what those critics may not see is that the Plath family dynamic is not ordinary. This is not a matter of minor disagreements. It is a family whose deepest issues are broadcast nationwide. Conflicts that most families could resolve privately become public property, discussed on Reddit, Instagram, and YouTube. For Veronica, joining that world would mean losing her privacy and becoming a permanent subject of speculation. There is also the issue of loyalty. Veronica's choice raises questions. Does she feel closer to some members of the family than others? Did she witness arguments or behaviors that convinced her it is better to stay out? While we do not have all the details, one thing is certain: her decision to say, "I do not want to be in the family," is her way of being honest. She is not pretending to be all in while secretly holding back. That honesty may sting, but it also avoids future hurt. For the show itself, Veronica's stance adds a fascinating layer. Welcome to Plathville is built on the tension between belonging and independence. The Plath children wrestle with whether to stay loyal to their parents or strike out on their own. Veronica's decision to reject the family dynamic altogether fits perfectly into that theme. She is, in her own way, a reflection of what many of the Plath kids have already chosen: to prioritize individuality over forced unity. Another dimension to consider is how Veronica's choice influences the Plath siblings themselves. Ethan has long struggled with being pulled between his wife and his family. Moriah has admitted that the family dynamic drains her emotionally. Micah has chosen distance to pursue his career. Veronica's stance may validate their own feelings, showing them that even outsiders see the risks of being too entangled. On the other hand, her decision could create tension if certain family members hope to pull her closer. At this point, we should pause and reflect on what Veronica's choice really represents. It is not just about the Plaths, it is about the universal truth that not every connection has to end in full assimilation. Sometimes, the healthiest relationships are those where people stay close, but not intertwined. Veronica's honesty shows that boundaries do not mean rejection, they mean self-respect. The storyline also challenges the premise of the show itself. From the beginning, Welcome to Plathville has tried to portray family unity as the ideal, even if that unity was strained. But Veronica's stance underlines a shift. This is no longer a story about one cohesive family. It is about individuals deciding how much they want to carry the weight of being a Plath. Her words, "I do not want to be in the family," are symbolic of that shift. What does the future hold? Veronica's choice may shape upcoming episodes. Will her distance create conflict with those who wanted her closer? Will her perspective be used by producers to highlight the Plath family's struggles with loyalty and identity? Or will her refusal simply stand as a mirror for the siblings, many of whom are already asking themselves similar questions? Whatever happens, Veronica's stance ensures she will remain part of the conversation. In the end, Veronica's declaration is not cruel, it is courageous. She does not want to be in the family, and she is not afraid to say it. For viewers, it may feel shocking, but it is also refreshing to hear honesty in a world where so many people pretend to fit in. Her stance is a reminder that family, whether by blood or bond, should never demand the sacrifice of your individuality. True connection comes from respect, not pressure. Veronica has chosen to respect herself, and in doing so, she has given fans one of the most striking storylines the show has offered in years. So, as Welcome to Plathville continues, Veronica's decision will echo as part of its larger message: family is complicated, loyalty is messy, and independence is sometimes the bravest path of all. Whether you see her choice as selfish or wise, there is no denying that it adds depth to the ongoing saga of a family that has never been ordinary and never stops surprising us.